uh, some of these issues, and there's no gainsaying that you've been able to, sail through the wind of some of these issues that has come up. But then it's imperative that we, go back to the beginning just a little bit. Let's talk about the suspension. I cannot describe it as purported because I have you on the other end of the line. Were you duly suspended from the All Progressive Grand Alliance? Are you still a member of the All Progressive Grand Alliance?
Thank you for the question. I have yesterday, in the course of discussing with Flow FM,
okay,
I did indicate that it appears the fourth trend, which is the press.
Okay.
The fourth trend is not doing so much these days. We remember there used to be what we called investigative journalism.
Okay.
What I mean by that is the press has a department that investigates properly. In fact, that department seems to, in most cases, they will have lawyers, they will have engineers, they will have medical doctors. Even on contractual basis, it is their job to obtain facts and information, even before they come to the public. What do I mean by that, sir? What I mean is that you, in the course of your introduction, you probably don't know that I am a BOT member. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the All Progressives Grand Alliance. So it's your duty to look at the constitution of All Progressive Grand Alliance. The constitution that makes somebody the eligibility to be a BOT member, and how a BOT member can be removed from office.
Okay.
Not even the national chairman, not even the national working committee can remove a BOT member. A board of trustee member of the association of the party, can only be removed by a NEC, National Executive Council, comprising all chairmen of the local government, of all local governments, and all chairmen of the states, and all officers of the party, including BOT members.
Okay, so that's the constitution of the All Progressive Grand Alliance.
These are the people who are entitled by the provisions of the constitution of ABGA to remove somebody who is a BOT from office. So not even if a ward chairman cannot even be removed by SWC. No, a ward chairman.
Okay.
Not even by this. If you are elected into an office, or if you are appointed into an office, there are eligibility and the clauses and provisions that makes you uneligible by way of removal. It is your job as members of the Fortrim to ensure you have this information. Very vital. Nobody can remove a BOT member from a state level. They are too junior. They are too small to remove a BOT member. A Board of Trustee member only be removed by NEC of the party. I hope that answers your question very clearly.
Well, it does answer the question. But then, since some of these issues have cropped up, I'm certain that there will be disaffection among party members, with the information made available that the state chairman, Reverend Augustine Ihemere, secretary, and the organizing secretary, as well as 16 members, signed off on that. Wouldn't you say there's a bit of disaffection, in the party at this time?
Well, I don't know what you call it. Disagreements in parties, in governments, in families, in marriages, they exist. Even in that organization, Rapid 95, there are some disaffections. Not everybody must like everybody. But usually what we see is that you must have to follow the rule of law. There are certain provisions that must be adhered to. Let me give you information. A chunk of the problem we have today in our country is because of disobedience to laws. We don't follow our existing laws. I was listening very disturbingly yesterday when the acting corps marshal of Federal Safety, Mr. Dauda Alibiu, when he told us that over 4,000 people die every 3 months on our roads, not because of proper causes, but because of recklessness and disobedience to traffic laws, traffic rules. So the deaths are not natural. They are caused by man. And I also looked at what a few people set up in WTO, World Transport Organization, that almost 94% of the deaths on the roads in Nigeria today are from lawlessness. Let me give you further information, my dear. It might interest the listening public to have this information. Today, in the last 10 years, Nigeria has seen over 3,000 buildings collapse.
Okay.
Because mechanics and fitters and bricklayers are now doubling as engineers. Because there are no more approvals before people commence their building plans, before construction of their building plans. And there are also the regular inspections that has to be done by qualified engineers are no more in place. Buildings are collapsing. And it is also very pathetic that very close to 98%, which is a very disturbing percentage, 98% of pharmaceutical stores in Nigeria today are being run by quacks. 98%. It has caused a lot of medical complications.
What's your source of that statistic, sir?
That's what I'm giving you statistics that are available right now. And then check Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, check WTO records, check Federal Safety records, check the released by Nigerian Bar Association and also Nigerian Medical Association. These are disturbing records. In Nigerian Bar Association, very close to 20% of those who are now employing themselves as lawyers have not gone to law school. It's very disturbing. It is because we have a very lawless society and because we don't have good leaders who should ensure that the proper thing is done. My dear, Chukwu Densi is a fellow of ethical leadership of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. For you to be a fellow, in fact, a senior fellow for that matter, if I give you the trajectory of those who are fellows of ethical leadership, they are those who insist that things must be done and done properly on a wider scale. We don't just pick up some minute areas and start starting to tell. On a larger scale, my crave to leadership today is because I insist the proper thing should be done. This was why I insisted that the wrong thing was done when the last primaries were held. And so many people did not believe me. I went to court. I've been vindicated by the courts that the wrong things were done. But let me not go into details of that matter because, you know, it is now sub judice. I understand the appeal has been the process of appeal has been processed and put in place. So since it is now before Court of Appeal,
I had a member of the All Progressive Grand Alliance leadership in Abia State on this program Standpoint, and they alluded to the fact that you were present during the primary elections that held at Koping, and you were there towards the end, only for you to leave, and at some point there was a parallel primaries holding elsewhere, which they claim you masterminded that. Now you're in court. What dissatisfied you with the process that happened at Koping?
Well, thank you for that question. We were all in court. We presented these matters in court. The courts have decided that Udensi was not wrong. Let me give you information which most people do not know. The chairman of the panel, Echezona, senior advocate of Nigeria, held a meeting of all contestants. I want you to verify this from Etigwe and then General Joma.
Okay.
They were in the meeting early in the morning before the primaries. He told us that he is coming from Anambra State and that he has done this several times, conducting primaries. He has done it several times. But under no circumstance will he conduct the primaries in the same place. That he's going to have the accreditation in Kopin and the voting in Villaroy. This was the instruction he gave us. And he repeated this instruction. I want you to see the video of his speech in Kopin when we all addressed it. He repeated it, that he is not going to have it, that this is the way it ought to be. And I do not believe in trivialities. If you must have to follow a process, that process must be followed and followed properly. I also got a member of the committee that was with the chairman to come and testify in court, Mr. Sele. Mr. Sele came to the court and testified that he's a member of the committee sent from Abuja to come and do these primaries, and that this is exactly what they resolved to do. The question is, why did the chairman not leave that place? It was because of a cheater. Mr. Cheater said that nobody's going to leave that place. He was hitting his hand on the table with all his thugs everywhere. That was why the man did not leave. He was probably frightened, and he remained there. But we had to move and do the right thing. We have enough courage to do the right thing.
Since the man who is the umpire was supposed to, move with you and remain there, couldn't you have remained?
Well, he's not the only one who is supposed to conduct it. There were 8 of them. 4 moved with me. That is what the judge was saying. But it is true that the chairman ought to have moved to do the election where it ought to happen. But his inability to do it has nullified the election. That is what the judge said. And the judge cancelled the elections. If you are supposed to do the voting in Villaroy and you chose to remain in Kopin, you have nullified the elections. It is very simple. So I seem to have more sympathy than blame for those who tried to coin all kinds of facts. If you have all those facts, go and present them in court. Why are you presenting them on radios and television? Go to court and present your facts.
Okay.
The courts have disagreed with your facts, and we have evidences of what the facts of the matter are. So let us not belabor this issue. The judge have decided, and we are waiting for the appeal court to decide.
All right, so 14 days was given. So because of the appeal, that will be overlooked. And then hopefully the decision of the appeal court comes as soon as possible. But then just before I let you go, I have one question that matters so importantly to me. I talked about disaffection in the initial instance. And having noticed that a lot of people have rallied behind Professor Greg Ibe, especially most members of the State Working Committee and the leadership of the All Progressive Grand Alliance in Abia State, would you still feel comfortable, eventually if the appeal court ruling is in your favor, to run as Guber candidate on the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance?
Listen, all members of ABGA are with me. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about those who have just been picked up from PDP and other places? Go and check the composition of the purported campaign council. Do you have ABGA people there? The ABGA people are with me. Those who moved from PDP to ABGA and now are heading those committees, of course, they are still in their own parties. And don't forget that it was only, in fact, we were even told by one of the contestants, General Ijoma, in his court case, that there's enough evidence that our man even contested the primaries in PDP. Well, be that as it may, I'm a very law-abiding citizen, and I believe in the principles of honesty and facts of the matter. The honest position is that if tomorrow the court say that it is Ijoma, it is Etiwe, or it is Greg Ribe, of course we'll all follow. But it must have to be through due process. It cannot be coerced. If it is coerced and arranged, of course you can be sure people then will fight against it. With every bit of my strength, I'll fight against it. And I'll fight with both hands. And you can be sure a man will be fighting, not a woman. So what I'm saying as a matter of fact is that we must have to obey the rules and regulations. If you set out rules and regulations, you must obey it. And that is what the law says. You cannot set out the rules and regulations and then change the goalposts halfway. No. I am not unaware there are some levels of misunderstandings in the party, which we are in the process of resolving. The party will come back together. Don't forget that this country fought a civil war for 3 years. Today we are still one. Even in that civil war of 3 years, some people died. People died of hunger, starvation, bombardment. But today, we forgave ourselves and came back as a family. It is still going to happen in Abga. Abga will come back very strong, and Abga will contest this election, and Abga will be tops in this election.
Thank you very much for affording us the opportunity. But because of want of time and the fact that we do have another guest waiting for us to speak with, we would have to allow you to go back to your daily activities. Thank you very much, Chukwu Udensi.
I'm very glad. Thanks for having me. I'm most delighted.
All right. Have a splendid day. Abga Guba aspirant, Sir Chukwu Udensi, who is a security expert. And of course, he had taken the party to court over the conduct of the Guba primaries. Well, Abga had, in a statement released, said Chukwu Udensi was suspended from the party indefinitely. But then he's saying that you cannot suspend a BOT member, that to take the National Executive Council to suspend him. We'll take a moment, and when we return, we'll be speaking with the House of Representative Onibo, who used to be on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, currently on the All Progressive Congress. We'll have a conversation with him as to another court case between he and the candidate, who is Emeka Atuma. Stay right here on the dial. Is the sound of your city, 96.5. on a frequency modulated band. We'll be right back.
Hi, welcome to another day in the life of a Gen Z still living in Nigeria. The weather is messing with me for real, and my neighbor is pissing me off. So he's trying to build something. I don't know what it is, but he's been hammering for some time now. I tried to wait for a reasonable amount of time so he could finish and we could talk, but it seems he's going on and on, so we might as well have our chit chat in spite of the hammering at the background or in the background. Okay, I know a lot of people dread Mondays, but fortunately, I don't. In fact, one of the most interesting things about my Mondays has to be the newsletters I get from different brands. My mailbox is always filled with newsletters daily, but the ones that come through on Mondays hit different. My favorite is I don't think I have a favorite because I feel it's unfair to have a favorite. But I always look forward to that of Money by Zikoko. So Zikoko shares honest stories about Nigerians and their money. You might want to check it out. It is always a beautiful read. Okay, do try to find the fun today and have it. Happy Monday.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It is a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. This is beyond partisan politics. It's unfortunate. And these are the kind of people who say they are leaders of this country. What example are they showing as leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with the happenings in the polity.
Nigeria is on drink and on oxygen. And how can we get out of this?
I am an employer of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of his family. And he must protect me.
Standpoint. The center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM, Umahia.
All Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Imo State Capital has sacked Emeka Atuma as the candidate of the All Progressive Congress for Abia Central Senatorial race. The court maintained that Sam Oniwo was elected the candidate of the APC, having participated in the party's primaries and also purchased the party's nomination and expression of interest forms. The court set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Evelyn Anyadike, which declared Atuma winner of the primary election of the APC in Abia Central. Oniwo had insisted that Atuma did not take part in the primary election that produced him as winner. And of course, the trial judge said that APC held Abia Senatorial primary on the 28th and 29th of May 2022, which did not produce any result. Joining me via phone this morning is Honorable Sam Oniwo. Very good morning to you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. All right, so
Okay.
how do you feel about the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Owerri? It has restored you as the validly elected and authentic APC Abia Central Senatorial District candidate.
Your line is not quite clear, but maybe as we go on, maybe to the truth. You said I should do what after the Court of Appeal?
Well, what I'm asking is the judgment of the Court of Appeal has restored you as the validly elected and authentic APC Abia Central Senatorial District candidate, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your disposition? I mean, you for a long time now have been working tirelessly to restore the mandate which you claim was wrongly taken from you. How do you feel about getting that judgment from the Court of Appeal?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel great. I am grateful to God. And I'm also grateful to the people of Abia State and the Nigerians at large who are, at all times supporting correcting the good thing and who are tired of impunity. By the way, let me correct your position. Emeka has never been declared as a candidate. The party only tried to submit his name to INEC, and his name was the young person whose name was never uploaded out of 109 senatorial districts. If you listen to the interview granted by the Deputy Organizing Secretary, Nze Chididuru, the interview granted to Arise, would have known or heard that he was never uploaded. That's one. And then two, he was not declared a candidate by the court in Umuahia. The court in Umuahia said they could not find evidence that I won. But the court never made any declaratory order that he's a candidate. And that's why, after that court judgment in Umuahia, he went and filed two other cases, one in Abuja and another one now in Umuahia, asking to be declared a candidate. So he was never declared a candidate. So it's important that we put this in proper perspective. And it is his search, desperate search, to be declared a candidate for a primary election that he never contested for. That's why he has dragged me to 6 courts. 6 in all today. So that you don't get the impression that he was never a candidate. He was never a candidate. We never declared.
Okay.
The party tried to listen. The party tried to upload his name when he did not do primary election. That failed. Then he continued to go from court at Umunuj. That was his first court. Then he went to court in Castina. The same thing he's been seeking is declare me the candidate. Then he went to court in Abuja, and then there's another one in Umuahia. I remember that the first court in Umuahia was a legal action instituted by me, and then the Court of Appeal. So in all, 6 courts. So that's very important. But on how I feel, I'm grateful, and I want to use this opportunity to thank Abians. So let me not lose track of that. I want to use this opportunity to thank Abians, who saw that we did this primary election in the afternoon, not at night. It was never done in the night. We did it in the afternoon, and I won.
and Emeka Atuma contested for gubernatorial election. ITV Jemenike and lost and came second. When he came second, because he had also instituted another court action where he sought to declare Ikechi Emenike incompetent of standing for that position because they said he was suspended by the party. He now claimed and called a press conference and said he was not the gubernatorial candidate of APC and continued to celebrate in his country home for 3 days. In fact, he was doing celebration up to it when we had our primary election, myself and Chief Enrico. So he was never at any time an aspirant for senatorial election for Ada Central, nor a candidate.
Well, I'd like to find out, on a more personal note, do you have a personal relationship with Chief Emeka Atuma?
Yes, I do. Okay. I do. If you ask that question, okay, let me answer you. By last year, July, I went with my PA, Chibuke, to his house in our legislative quarters to ask him what he was going to run for so that we will not have any conflict. And he told me he was going to run for Guba and nothing below Guba. And I'm also happy that there are so many other persons from his community, his friends, including one of the prominent senators from Abia, who had asked him and said it was Guba and nothing but Guba. So he was never in the senatorial race at all. So for me to have gone to his house to ask this question last year means that we have that kind of personal relationship. And of course, when I was busy organizing the party in the local government before the congresses, I was the one who called meetings at the Ritz Continental, bringing General Wobu, General Koro could not come to that meeting. Colonel Paul Omero, Chinedu Kano. And so I was the one who called that meeting. I funded it myself. So I don't think there was at any time when I did not carry him along. But for him, after running for governorship, he lost, but then he laid claim that he was the gubernatorial candidate. And only for him to turn around and now say, he was one who was elected as a senatorial candidate. It's absolutely bizarre. And what we have seen in the court, the documents that they have manufactured, I think the security agencies are looking at them. And I don't want a situation where we will leave what we are doing and begin to think of who is going to explain or who is not going to explain. So this is why we came up with the Electoral Act to remove, to eliminate, to terminate with precision any act of brigandage or political gangsterism. It's not something that should be encouraged. We have been to 6 courts by an individual that never contested a primary election.
All right, so
this is condemnable.
I thank you for making that very strong statement of fact. We've read severally that you played some role in the enactment of the Electoral Act 2022. What sections of the Act, if there are any, that are helping the courts in your attempt to sanitize the electoral system and restore confidence in the system and return power to the electorate?
Well, yes, to the glory of God, I was one of the 12 people, the very last people that were asked to look at the contents of the bill. In the first place, we started with a retreat on how to get this Electoral Act. On the 5th of March 2020, at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Lagos, Ikeja, Lagos. And that retreat involved the INEC chairman, the national commissioners, the resident electoral commissioners, and some senior directors. And then on the part of the National Assembly, the 2 committees of the National Assembly on INEC or electoral matters. And then the civil society organization. So we were in that retreat, and then the session was chaired by His Excellency Ovioma Agege, the Deputy Senate President. And it was there we resolved to, repeal all the other electoral acts because of the confusion that were coming from interpretation and the sections. we decided to repeal it. We agreed, we resolved to repeal it, and then come up with Electoral Act, new, not as amended. A lot of people like to say Electoral Act amended. No, this one is not as amended. It's Electoral Act 2022. So from there, we started working. And then COVID-19 disrupted the work, but then we continued in January of 2021. It was such a serious work that we will start sometimes 9:30 in the morning and close 9:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. doing clause by clause, word by word, and line by line consideration of what makes today's Electoral Act. So in terms of what the Electoral Act has done, it is beginning to refine and sanitize, the electoral process, and by extension, restore confidence. And of course, encourage the electorate to come forward. You must have seen the increase or upsurge in the registered voters.
Yeah.
They want to participate because they don't believe that their votes will surely count. So one of the things that this Electoral Act 2022 has done is to create that kind of interest and hope and, of course, confidence. So, but on the primary election that we have done, there are so many sections of the Act that have played critical roles. But if you see what is in Section 84(1) of the Act, where it talks about how you can become a candidate. So all these things are intended to reduce confusion, like the type that we have been through after a primary election. So that Section 84(1) states very clearly that, if a political party, seeking nominate candidates for elections under this Act, shall hold primaries for aspirants for all elected positions, which shall be monitored by the Commission. And the Commission here, they're talking about INEC. So if you say you have done primaries and INEC did not monitor it with other security agencies, and of course it's INEC that writes the report, they have to prepare their own report. They haven't done primaries, and that is what is happening now to checkmate the impunity that some some party administrators we are used to, where will go out of will spend his money, participate in a primary election, get elected, and then Okafor is now used to substitute his name from us there. That has been stopped, and that has been checkmated by the provisions of this Act. There are so many other things. There is Section 31 talks about withdrawal. If you are not participating again, you must withdraw in writing and deliver it personally to INEC, so as to enable them, enable the party take a decision within 14 days. They can hold another primary election. There are several, sections of the Act that try to streamline them. So, of course, we talk about the electronic transmission of results and all that, the one that was so contentious. These are the things that are now working to sanitize the process, electoral process, and then restore confidence in the system.
All right. So for a while now, we've been going on and on about the primary elections, electoral process. But it might just be imperative that we talk about a little of your accomplishments in the House of Representatives and what you plan to do more because of your re-election bid. Yeah. So what are your plans, immediate and long-term plans? In a few minutes, can you just tell us what is an immediate plan for you, for the people of Abia Central? Because you used to be in the House of Representatives and now you're going for Senate.
My brother, thank you very much. They say that the reward for good work is more work and maybe even harder work. Because, Lawrence Peter, a management expert, he said that everybody is promoted to his level of incompetence. Now, if you have demonstrated competence, you will always be promoted, in a place where people recognize their contributions. For the record, to the glory of God and without slander and modest. It is that my people saw that I was working well. Of course, we have verifiable pieces of evidence to support this, my modest assertion. Because they saw that I was working well, that I am the only person that they have re-elected in Ikwa and Umuahia North and South Federal Constituency since 1999. So in terms of what I am going to do for the people of Abia Central, I'm going to serve them the same way that I've been serving, which is to excel in what I'm doing in such a way that the principle with which I ran for election, which is EAR, or I call it the EAR principle, effectiveness, accessibility, and responsiveness. That's what I will also continue to use by the grace of God when I am elected. Why? Because it has served me and those who have been supporting me well. You ask what I've been able to do. I know that this interview will probably not last for so long, but it must start running a long list.
Yeah.
But let me just quickly say, by His grace, I am the one that facilitated the total reconstruction of Umuahia and Ekwate Beni Road. That road is not less than 56 or so kilometers. If you drive through it now, you see the reconstruction work that is going on there. I started to work on this on the 14th of June, 2016, when I met with the minister. And by then, that road was totally impassable. And I was able to extract a palliative work from the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, His Excellency Babatunde Raji-Fashola, SAN. And after that palliative work, I continued to mount pressure until the road was awarded initially. The funding became a problem. I also continued with letters until the road was transferred to NNPC Road Tax Credit Scheme. That's why they are doing that reconstruction. And perhaps it also interests you that road is costing the federal government 13.2 billion naira. So it's not a baby reconstruction job. In addition to that, I facilitated major erosion control works at Amankwe-Zeleke in Amachara. It was so successful and so massive that the president sent a minister, then Senator Heineken Lukobri, to come and commission it on behalf of President Buhari. The same similar job was done at Okoboro. That one too was so successful that the president sent the Minister Itayu, to come and commission it on his behalf. In addition to that, I facilitated the largest skills acquisition center, which is there at Apumini Obakala. And now, if you want to talk about blocks of classrooms, I have one at Odumuahia. I have another one at Omutowe Olokoro. I have another one at Umuajata Olokoro. Another one at Nsirimo. I have another one at Adamagia.
Honorable Sam Onibo.
And I have another one at Omoro. Another one at Hamza. Another one at Tomkad. So,
just a second. I know we are practically out of time, but then I'd want to ask one final question, because if we go on and on, there'll be a lot to talk about when it comes to what you are doing. Who better to tell his story than a man who is the major player in that story? But then you are going to be going across ethnic lines, across local governments now, not just to represent one set of people. You're from Ikwano, and now you've mentioned Olokoro, Umuahia in your legislative work as a House of Rep member. But then as a senator, let's not forget the fact that we have people of Ngwa descent on the other side, who will fall into your senatorial coverage. I'll use myself as an example. Myself, I'm from Ishialangwa. It means if you get into the office, you'll be representing me. What have you done in that stead to, lobby, convince that, they should be on your part? Yes, a bit of an advantage on your part because you are on the platform of the APC. The person who is of the PDP is also from Ikwano. But then over there's still some people who are from the Ungwa extraction vying for that same position in other parties. Let's not start talking about the obedient factor and all that. But then how have you been able to lobby the Ungwa, indigents, the people of Ungwa ancestry, to rally to your banner, to get them on board with you?
Thank you very much indeed and then thank you also that you are by His grace my potential constituent. But right now you are even my constituent because you are no more. See, the Igbos have a proverb that you use the smell of fat to imagine the taste of faces.
Okay.
From what I have done in Iguano, Umuahia, North and South, spreading projects across local government. When I declared to run for Senate in May, I invited people from the Ungwa extraction, no Monato extraction of Ungwa, of Abia Central. And they were there. But more than that, I've also been to these local governments and spoken and interacted with them. They saw what I have been able to do. And I think that is what motivated so many of them to come on board, to come and support me, because they would like me to extend these uncommon accomplishments to their own parts of the Abia Central. So we are working together. And it is because that people have seen that, in all honesty, I try to ensure that I remain a very humble, but very hard-working person. And that's why you see, naturally, people are gravitating towards me. But you also mentioned about the obedience factor. Yeah. You know that with this new electoral act, nobody is going to come and say, all the way, Afaruku party, all the way, Isiralangwa North party, all the way. No. It's going to be now according to what you've been able to do, according to your antecedents, according to your character. That's what is going to count, according to integrity. If anybody goes back to what has held us down for a quarter of a century, 25 years, of all the way, everybody vote for it all the way, then it means we are not people who are used
so
to
you don't believe in the mantra of 5/5 for your party members? I mean,
no, you have to. The way you are doing, don't go and mislead anybody and say that a man who was not stealing at Ogumaduru, that because he's a member of your party, you will not say all the way. You don't do that because we have moved away from that. We have completely moved away from that. And it is this all the way, that is what has kept you, or kept everyone here in Abia. Take for instance, I facilitated a federal secretariat for Abia State since 2019. And when I facilitated that, I wrote to the governor. And the governor wrote a letter to the minister. But just to produce land, certificate of occupancy and survey plan is what is holding a state like Abia from having a federal secretariat. That states that were created after Abia, all have them. I'm talking of the letter I wrote to the governor on the 23rd of October after meeting with the minister. And the governor, on the strength of my own letter, wrote his own on the 25th of October 2019. Up till now, we don't have a federal secretariat that would have been built for us free, that would have attracted opportunities for people from levels 1 to 6 to employ within the state, that would have brought in aesthetics, that would have created an opportunity to save land. Instead of allocating one plot of land.
Sam, just like
it's
you,
it's going to be based on what you are bringing to the table. What value are you adding? If anybody wants to close his eyes again and say, "Hey, we vote for what's her name, sir? What's her name?
Barra.
Huh?
Barra.
If anyone closes his eyes and say, Barra, who was caught stealing or looting money, and that we should vote for him because Barra is my brother." I don't think Abia people, they will do that again. I'm just telling you.
All right, thank you very much for affording us the opportunity to have a conversation with you. We are informed that you have to move over for something at 11. We are done because of we're practically out of time. But hopefully, when you are in town, you probably would make a live appearance, and we'll have time to extensively look at so many issues because there's a whole lot that we're unable to, touch. We just only scratched the surface this morning. Thank you very much, Honorable Sam Onibu, for having a conversation with me on the program Standpoint this morning.
Thank you, my brother, and I wish you thanks for having me. Enjoy your day.
Honorable Sam Onibu is the member representing Iguano Umuahia Federal Constituency, the House of Representatives, on the platform of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, All Progressive Congress. He is also vying for to represent Abia Central at the Senate, the next House of Assembly, and we just had a conversation with him. You can watch the live stream on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Rapid965FM, just in case you missed any part. On behalf of writer Guyan, the producer Nebuchomuna MM, and the executive producer John Kamin, my name is Tempo Bara. Sincere apologies we couldn't take your calls. Hopefully next episode we'll open up the phone lines. Until tomorrow at 10, have yourself a great day, and bye for now.
Spent just about 6.8 billion naira on roads, and we are still celebrating.
In 2019,